Today is Friday, January the 7th, 2022, and it's a great day to have a day here on the Spurs Up Show, the best Gamecocks podcast on the internet. And on today's show, I break down tomorrow's game as South Carolina heads to Nashville, Tennessee, looking for their first SEC win of the season. Guys, I'll break down this game in its entirety. First things first, we'll talk about Vanderbilt. Also, of course, top storylines, Vandy players to watch for, keys to the game, and I will lock in my prediction as well as, again, the Gamecocks take on the Doors. Also, guys, we've got news and notes to get into, a packed Friday show, and it's all brought to you, of course, by our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. Guys, for all your moving needs in the 2022 calendar year, be sure to check out our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. You can find them on social media at Upstate Movers Group, or, of course, if you have any other questions, go to their website, upstatemoversgroup.com. That's upstatemoversgroup.com. Be sure to check them out and tell them Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Let's get it. Boys and girls, happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well. The first Friday, by the way, of the 2022 calendar year. Appreciate you all tuning in. Of course, I'm Chris Phillips, host of the Spurs Up Show. As always, hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Hope you're having a great Friday and a great start to your weekend here on this January the 7th, 2022. Again, we got a packed show for you. A lot to get into here on this Friday. Appreciate you all taking the time. Again, your love and support. Also, guys, I do want to say this before we get going. Thank you all so much for the positive feedback and the positive support in regards to the Big Cock Club, the new initiatives we're pushing within the Spurs Up Show. You know, I told you guys, I really do value your feedback. I value you guys' thoughts and opinions. And, overall, what you guys are thinking in regards to the content, the business, and everything we do. And the feedback has been outstanding. It's been very constructive. It's been very positive. And the love and support has been there in regards to the Big Cock Club. So for all of our new members, all of those who have joined over the past few days, thank you all so much. And again, to those who will join, appreciate your love and support. Again, if you are interested in joining the Big Cock Club, patreon.com/Big Cock Club is where you can do so. You'll get exclusive access to our private Discord, as well as all of our newest and latest interviews, conversations. Of course, all of our live streams from Tin Roof are going to be housed there as well. Also, by the way, here's a little tidbit in case you did not know, and I don't even have it listed on the site. Of course, with the Big Cock Club, we offer merchandise, swag, if you will, hats, t-shirts, hoodies. You guys, of course, have seen me rocking the merch. For all new members who join and all current existing members, in case you did not know, well, now you're going to know. We've gotten to the point where, I wanted to do this in the beginning, but really just didn't have the means necessary to do so when we first started it back in the summer of 2021. But wanted to send out like little personalized care packages, if you will. Nothing crazy, but something like a koozie, a sticker, and a handwritten note. Well, I'm happy to say we have gotten to that level. So again, all those who are currently members of the Big Cock Club, you will be getting those in the mail. And all new members who join, you'll get a free personalized little swag bag, little care package, if you will. A thank you from yours truly for your love and support. So again, guys, it's patreon.com/Big Cock Club. Very excited again for those initiatives to continue and excited for what's to come, especially on the interview side of things as we work on some very, very big conversations moving forward. But again, guys, great Friday to have a Friday. It's a great Friday to talk court cock. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in this thing because this is a huge game. Upcoming tomorrow is South Carolina heads to Nashville, Tennessee at Memorial Gymnasium to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. A noon Eastern tip on ESPNU, by the way. That's like the one channel that I don't have. So yours truly will probably be out and about, if you will, for this game, trying to find a bar somewhere to watch it. By the way, another quick reminder. I know I mentioned the Carolina Ale House watch parties and stuff like that. I will keep you guys in the loop and let you know exactly when we will be starting that. Because again, we are going to do watch parties for the spring sports, just waiting on things to get finalized. And as soon as we do, you guys will be the first to know, of course. But again, the game is on ESPN. You get this, guys, the series history between South Carolina and Vandy, it's actually tied 23-23. So again, a lot on the line here tomorrow, especially when you factor in the series is tied. Whoever wins tomorrow will take the overall lead in this series between the Gamecocks and Doors on the hardwood. Of course, the last meeting being last year, Vanderbilt won the game 93-81. Man, last year was a tough season. Like, we didn't beat anybody. We practically didn't beat anyone. But again, Vandy did win last year's match at the Doors this year, guys. A little bit of a surprise early on, in my opinion. They're 9-4, 1-0 in the SEC, and a really impressive first win in the SEC as they took down the Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville on Tuesday night by a final score of 75-74. So again, don't look now, but Vandy's starting to figure it out on the hardwood. Do not sleep on the Commodores and the type of team they can be this season. Their head coach is Jerry Stackhouse. When you look at Vandy as a team, how they're doing it with defense. I mean, again, of course, they scored 75 points the other night against Arkansas, but you look at the averages, scoring just 70.3 points per game and giving up 61.7 points per game. So again, guys, they are playing some elite level defense. I was actually looking back at their schedule, guys. Get this. They had a game this year. They played at VCU, a home game against VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. They lost the game. Get the score, 48-37. They scored 37 points, just 15 points in the second half. I was like, that's got to be a misprint. Sure enough, looked at the box score. It was not. So they are doing it defensively, a little bit more of a lower scoring team, if you will, in regards to the averages, and you look at other teams, but still, Vandy, a solid club, going to take a great effort to get this win and get your first SEC win of the season. Let's move to top storylines. And on that note, guys, it's only the second conference game, right? We're still so early in this thing. I hate to label a game as a quote unquote must win, if you will. But when you look how South Carolina's schedule shakes out, right? When you look at what you have upcoming, after this game at Vandy, you go to Knoxville, Tennessee to take on the Volunteers, January the 11th, that Tuesday night. Then the next Saturday, you play Florida. Then you go to Arkansas. So things only get tougher from here. And like I said, I don't want to be over the top and be over dramatic, but I ask you guys this question. Would you consider this game a quote-unquote must-win game early in SEC play? Because, again, we all understand what's at stake right now. We all understand the state of Gamecocks basketball and the overall emotions and feelings towards Frank Martin, towards, the apathy that can be found within Gamecocks men's basketball. And if you lose a game like this, a game that's certainly very winnable, a game that I think we all looked at before the season and said, yeah, South Carolina should go to Nashville and beat the Vanderbilt Commodores. You lose a game like this, you find yourself behind the 8 ball, 0-2 in SEC play. The chatter around Frank Martin and South Carolina basketball and the future of the program, guys, it's only going to get louder. It's only going to get louder. So maybe labeling this a must win is a little aggressive, but it is one you desperately need. It is one you desperately need, again, to get the first SEC win of the season, of course. But I fear if you lose this one, things can start to spiral out of control a little bit. So again, is this a must-win game early in SEC play? I think because of what you have upcoming. Like I told you guys, when you lost to Auburn on Tuesday, that wasn't some fireable offense. That wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back in regards to Frank Martin and this basketball team, because that was the 9th-ranked Auburn Tigers, right? Even though it was a disappointing loss at home, yours truly, I expected South Carolina to lose that ball game. That's why I picked Auburn to win by 11 points. But this game, this is just one you have to have. This is one you have to have. You lose a game like this one tomorrow, and fair or unfair, again, the chatter around Frank Martin, his status at the University of South Carolina, it's only going to get louder, especially when you factor in what you have upcoming, guys. I mean, again, you don't win this one tomorrow, you're looking at possibly an 0-3 or 0-4 start on SEC play. And I think once this season gets to the point where it's no longer, a question mark whether South Carolina will be able to compete and get in March Madness, I unfortunately think that's when you're going to start to hear the fire Frank Martin chants, the fire Frank Martin chatter get louder and louder and louder. So again, I ask you, is this a must-win game? And I tell you, it is a very important game for the Gamecocks here early in conference play. Another big storyline, guys, and this is a storyline anytime you go to Nashville and you play Vandy. Because in case you didn't know, the elements, and I don't even know really how to describe it, if you want to call it the aura of Memorial Gymnasium, the stupidest basketball arena arguably in college basketball. In case you're unaware, it's like a thing where it's like an elevated court. The benches are like, it's just so, it's hard for me to even explain. Those who have been there certainly know what I'm talking about. Those who watch it on TV, look when you see on TV tomorrow afternoon. It's a lot of weird things happen at Memorial Gymnasium. I don't know what it is. It's hard for me to explain. You know, the backdrop behind the goals and just weird things happen. So again, can South kind of overcome those elements? Here's the thing. You haven't won a true road contest yet. And Memorial Gymnasium is not an easy place to play. And it's not even because it gets crazy sold out of the crowd. You know, no disrespect to Vandy basketball fans, but just more so Memorial Gymnasium. And again, the quote unquote aura around it, weird things happen. Flat out weird things happen. And we continue to see that be the case on Saturday. Another big storyline in this one, guys, of course, as we all saw against Auburn, Keyshawn Bryant only played like 3 or 4 minutes, went out with an injury. Frank Martin saying, I think, what did he say? It was a UCL or some sort of sprain, if you will. Does that keep him out? What is the status of Keyshawn Bryant? Because you need all hands on deck, guys, especially when you think about, again, I don't want to continue to bring it up, but in the ever-changing COVID landscape, you know, you get into a game day, you never know who might be available, who won't be available. So you can't afford to lose guys. Nobody can, to an injury. And especially when it's a guy that the quality and the caliber of Keyshawn Bryant, one of your top scorers, one of your top players on your team. Again, what is his status? Can he go a long way in South Carolina's chances at beating Vandy? Sticking with the scores for South Carolina, another big storyline for me. Our guy Stevie. Shoot or shoot, baby. What does Stevie do for an encore? And can he build on the performance from Tuesday night and establish himself as one of the top scorers in the SEC? 25 points in his SEC debut against Auburn. And again, on a team that is looking for elite level scores. I mean, we feel good about Jermaine Couisnard. James Reese has done some nice things. I like Jacoby Wright's game. We understand what Williams Levesque gives you down low. But you're looking for consistency. You're looking for consistent shot creators, shot makers, playmakers, if you will. What does Stevie do for an encore? Again, I'm not expecting him to score 25 points again, but can he build off what he did on Tuesday? Again, guys, just like anything else, just like any other sport with shooters, it's all about confidence, right? Build that consistency, continue to build that confidence. If he can do that, going to be a massive weapon for the Gamecocks, especially on the outside, shooting the 3 ball. Another big storyline. You talk about Vandy, you got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Can South Carolina slow him down? He's been an absolute menace this year. Had a fantastic game against Arkansas on Tuesday, and certainly one of the biggest reasons they won that game in Fayetteville. And how do they attack him? Hey, South Carolina had a bad defensive showing the last time out, flat out. I mean, I think Auburn shot, like 52%, 40% from 3. Cannot happen. What does Frank Martin and South going to do to slow down Scottie Pippen Jr.? Again, one of the better scorers in this league, one of the better guards. And of course, we all know his family history. And he's also had some really good games against South Carolina. So again, what does South Carolina do defensively, especially on the outside, to stop the 3 ball and slow down Scottie Pippen Jr.? Guys, finally, my final storyline is this. I talked about Memorial Gymnasium. I talked about your struggles on the road. My question, and again, something we're following, do the road woes continue? Because like I said, guys, you're actually 0-2 in true road games this year. 0-2 in true road games. You've lost at Clemson and at Coastal Carolina. So you have not played very well. And those losses, guys, were by 14 points and 24 points. So you have not played good basketball on the road. You got to find a way to shake that off and change that and change it quickly. I don't know if maybe it's a mental block with this team right now. And again, it's a very small sample size. You've only played 2 games, but we got to see this team play much better. We all understand how tough it is to go on the road and win in the SEC. But I tell you, after you lost that season opener, or the SEC opener, I should say, Tuesday night on your home floor, you got to find a way to get one back. And certainly, again, this is one we already talked you got to have. But the road woes, this team has looked different on the road. Do we continue to see that, or can South Carolina be road warriors, shake that off, and play much better basketball and get their first true road win of the season? Guys, let's move into Vanderbilt players to watch for. And again, some really, really good players. They're led by, as I talked earlier, guard Scottie Pippen Jr., scoring 18.4 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game. And again, I'll tell you guys this, it feels like he's been there forever. I'll be honest. I feel like I've been talking about Scottie Pippen Jr. for like the past 6 basketball seasons. But I believe he's in his final season. Again, 18.4 and 3.7. Very solid player. And again, they sort of go as he goes. They go as he goes. For Jordan Wright, another really good player, 12.5 points per game, 6.1 rebounds per game for the Commodores. Big-time player down low. And then Ford Miles Stute, 7.8 points per game and 3.8 rebounds per game. Outside of those 3 guys, though, not a ton. They got a lot of role guys that are averaging between 5 and 6 points per game, but especially those top 2 that I mentioned, Pippen Jr. and Wright, you slow them down. You really slow down Vanderbilt as a whole. Again, especially if you can limit Scottie Pippen, you got a really good chance. And that's where we'll start, guys, and we're talking keys to the game. What must South Carolina do to get their first SEC win of the season? The first one's very simple. Limit Scottie Pippen Jr. And again, it's much easier said than done, and he's had some fantastic outings against you in the past. But as you saw on Tuesday, when Vanderbilt beat Arkansas in Fayetteville, they go as he goes. He had a big night. Guess what? They won on the road. You hold him certainly to single digits, but I mean, you got to hold him in check, right? He's going to get his. He's the leader of Vanderbilt. He's going to be their main scorer, but you can't let him go off. You can't let him go crazy. Limit Scottie Pippen Jr. They go as he goes. You take care of him. You'll take care of the doors. Guys, my second key to the game, simply put, hey, make defense great again, man. Listen, I understand it's all about offense. It's all about scoring. But what we saw on Tuesday, that was very uncharacteristic of a Frank Martin coached team, a Frank Martin coached defense, if you will. Let's make the Gamecocks defense great again. Play some hard-nosed defense. Vanderbilt's done it all season, guys. Like I said, just allowing their opponents to score 61 points per game. So I don't see this probably being a 92 to 88 type ball game or a high-scoring ball game. I'll be very curious to see what the over-under is in Vegas for this game. But make defense great again. Be hard-nosed. Be aggressive. Get after Vandy. Make them uncomfortable. I think you'll have a good chance. And my final key to the game, guys, is this. I taught Memorial Gymnasium, and what that means, going there on the road, like I said, guys, South Carolina is not the only team that struggled there. It's just a weird place to play. A lot of strange things happen. My final key to the game is this. To the best of your ability, ignore the elements. Listen, we all understand how you've played on the road. You've been bad. You've been very bad. Again, you've lost by 14 and 24 points, respectively, in your lone 2 road matchups. Ignore the elements, block out the noise. Don't let anything that happens even early on affect you. Weather the storm early. Just go play your game. Go play solid basketball. You do that, I think you should get the win in this ball game. And that leads me to, I'm going to lock in my prediction here. Will the Gamecocks get their first SEC win of the season? And again, guys, like I told you, Tuesday night at Colonial Life Arena, that was not the straw that broke the camel's back. I know so many people are ready to pull the trigger on Frank Martin. I feel like people expect me to be the guy because I was the Fire Muschamp guy. I was over the top with the Fire Muschamp stuff. And guys, I'll tell you this. The moment that I feel a change needs to be made, I will not hold back. I will not, sugarcoat things. And I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to be real about the situation. And so, but it's just too early. Like I said, though, a game like this tomorrow, you lose this one with what you've got upcoming, all of a sudden that chatter gets louder and louder and louder and louder, and the calls for Frank Martin's job will get louder and more often. And I think people might start to switch their stance because I think for the most part, Frank Martin still has, I think, the majority of support from Gamecock fans and Gamecock Nation. I feel like he's still very well supported. But you lose a game like this tomorrow, people are going to start really questioning, is this guy what's best for the future of our basketball program? Like I said, a weird road trip, right? Going to Nashville where the elements are a real thing. Memorial Gymnasium is a strange place to play. And the Gamecocks have not played well there in the past, by the way. This South Carolina team, in my opinion, is better than what they showed on Tuesday night, guys. Like I said, Auburn is a top 10 team. They're a legitimate top 10 team. And I talked about the defense, and I ragged on the defense of, hey, make defense great again. Tip your cap to Auburn in some of that because they made some insane shots on Tuesday night. And I think the game plan, again, will center around for the Gamecocks tomorrow, limiting Scottie Pippen Jr., taking him away and making someone else beat you. If you can do that, I think you got a really, really good chance. Now, again, that's much easier said than done. And we see what Vandy did going on the road, taking down Arkansas. And that was a stunner to me. I mean, I didn't think Vandy was going to be very good this year. Arkansas has got a pretty solid club. And again, anytime you go on the road in the SEC and get a win, it's a big deal. Now, you're on the road here in Nashville. You haven't played well on the road. Again, guys, I actually don't think it's too bold to call this a must-win game. I think South Carolina will play like its hair is on fire because it knows you cannot fall to 0-2 in SEC play. You simply can't do it. And I'm not looking ahead of the schedule, guys, and say, oh, my gosh, it's just sure losses against Tennessee, Florida, Arkansas, whatever. But it just feels like if you don't beat Vandy, things could start to snowball almost like they did last year. And I know last year was totally different, but it feels like things could start to snowball. I think South Carolina will play much better defense. I think this is a very tight ball game, back and forth ball game all throughout the game. I think it could come down to the last possession. With that being said, this is a must-win game. This is a game you desperately need. You desperately have to have. You got to play better on the road, and you got to get your first SEC win and get back to 500 conference play. And I think the Gamecocks and Frank Martin understand that more than anyone. That reason, guys, I think South Carolina behind a very spirited effort, they'll get the job done, play much better defense. I'm locking it in. I got the Gamecocks winning this game by a final score of South Carolina 69, Vanderbilt 66. Again, I think it's a very close back and forth game. The Gamecocks just do edge out Vandy, and for at least a couple of days until you resume to action next Tuesday against Tennessee and Knoxville, but at least for a couple of days, the vitriol and the fire Muschamp emotions subside, and the emotions of victory and celebration behind a great effort on the road will take its place, at least for a little bit. But again, guys, I've got South kind of getting the win. Lock me in. Gamecocks 69, Commodores 66, as South kind of moves to 1-1 in SEC play. Guys, before we close out here on a Friday, that's all from me. A couple of news and notes real quick. Josh Vann officially announcing his return. Huge news. Of course, guys, this has been rumored all week, but Josh making it official on Wednesday night. I don't have to say how big of a return this is, how big of a piece this is coming back. And again, like I said before, it just really speaks loud volumes to what Shane Beamer is building, that guys truly, genuinely want to return and want to continue to be a part of what we are building in Columbia, South Carolina. So again, a huge boost. And I think a guy, certainly Josh Vann, that will increase his draft stock exponentially with Spencer Rattler throwing him footballs this fall. Also, guys, one quick note. Congratulations. And if you did not hear the news, former Gamecocks quarterback Jason Brown is headed to Blacksburg as he is committed officially to Virginia Tech. This is something I heard a couple of weeks ago, but he actually made it official again late on Thursday. Going to be really cool to follow his career and see how things shake out. Again, it's always unique. And we've had a lot of quarterbacks, it seems like lately, guys, hit the transfer portal and pursue careers elsewhere. But I think certainly Jason Brown is a guy that holds a special place in Gamecocks fans' hearts for what he did, Shane Beamer's first season. And when we look back, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, we look back on Shane Beamer's first season, we're going to say, hey, remember Jason Brown? Remember what he did against Florida? Remember what he did against Auburn? I mean, that truly, those games were stuff of legend. So again, best of luck, Jason Brown. Go be great, 1-5. Go give him hell in Blacksburg. Guys, again, that's going to do it all for me. Appreciate you all tuning in, guys. Again, thank you all so much for your continued love and support, rocking and rolling with the content all throughout the week and everything That we do. Folks, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll leave you with this. Go Cox, beat Vandy, and we'll talk to you on Monday.